In the face of ignorance, silence is not acceptance, it's self-preservation. So, what do I mean by this? I feel like if you've ever had a friend or somebody that you associate with who you're not able to easily get through to, regardless of how good your points are, regardless of how much solid information you feel like you're bringing them, you can't even have a civil conversation with them about actions that may have disturbed you or something that you've realized in their personality because everything feels like an attack. This is kind of what that encapsulates. It means that you shouldn't just allow yourself to stoop to the level of others because they made you feel like you were the crazy one. It's the modern day version of it is that meme of the monkey and the lion or the tiger or whatever. It's what people nowadays would just call rage bait. You'd spend 30 minutes explaining your feelings to somebody in the most depth that you can, in the kindest way possible, in the most respectful way possible. And they would deadass just tell you to give them proof and say that you're being rage baited. It's like, bro, you cannot talk to these type of people. It's like a humiliation ritual. It feels like self-harm in a way that your brain can't comprehend how nothing is behind this person's mind and all they think about is themselves and the world just revolves around them. It's genuinely like talking to a brick wall. The greatest act of self-respect is refusing to internalize someone else's failure to understand whatever it is that you are presenting them. So I guess, yeah, I don't know. A good example is just like in friendships or relationships, that person who genuinely just cannot even find level ground. The issue is that it always feels like an attack to their character for them, and whether this is something that stems from their past or and is more subconscious or is a conscious manipulation tactic, you can't really understand it or figure out because you can't ask them directly, or else that also feels like an attack. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everyone has experienced this from time to time, and it's a tough thing to go through because it's not that you can't win in the situation. It's that you're not even trying to win. You're genuinely just trying to get through to somebody who you believed cared about you and believed that your opinion would matter to, but it's an important conversation to have because you just realize that you have to distance yourself from that person. Slowly but surely, you just have to let them, you know, go away and kind of erase from your lives in a way. And that sounds harsh, but I feel like that's the only real way to walk out unscathed from it. Otherwise, you're just going to be getting rage baited the whole time. You can't enable these people, right? So the book of Proverbs 18:2 says, "A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinions." So you've experienced it before whenever you're talking to somebody and you feel like you have to ramble a little bit quicker and you can't slow down and really get your point across or even take a moment to think because you know for a fact they're going to interrupt you. Every single time you try and speak, you're being interrupted, but you will listen to everybody else. And I have more ideas on that, but it's just like the person who isn't having a conversation to understand or listen, but just genuinely waiting for their turn to speak. It's as if the information you say is going in one ear and out the other. And it feels super unfulfilling and like not rewarding to have conversations with these people because it's not that you need to gain something from them necessarily, but a good conversation feels good. It feels engaging and you can appreciate how somebody is wanting to understand your opinion and then add to it, right? I've heard it before where a conversation is like a match of tennis or badminton, right? But sometimes when you're supposed to just be going back and forth, like asking more questions, following up, listening and understanding, looking at somebody, this is what a good conversation consists of. Sometimes people just catch the birdie. And it's like, hey, how was your day? Good, thanks. I didn't really do much. It's like, gang, ask me how my day was. You know what I mean? And it's not like you need this sort of validation. You can kind of just brush this off and it's whatever. But it gets to a point where it becomes insufferable and you cannot stand to be around these people anymore because it just seems like they're operating out of this like I said, either if it's conscious manipulation or just weird misery where they don't understand that the conversations that they're having are very one-sided, and then they wonder why like people don't want to talk to them. It's because, bro, it's just the you show. That's what we're on right now. I hate it. I feel like I'm somebody who has always tried to listen to other people, like genuinely engage and focus in what it is that they were saying, not only to make them feel valuable and to not waste their time, but to also understand for myself. It's like, bro, maybe the people who are speaking to us have a different perspective than us, and we should have an open enough mind to consider what it is that they're saying. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that's a concept that goes over so many people's heads, especially in this social media, Gen Z, crazy world where instant dopamine is the only thing that you feel. Bro, you can just tell when you're talking to somebody who is genuinely perma-fried from their screens, bro. It's like if the weed wasn't enough to fry your brain, the constant scrolling and dopamine hits every 2 seconds definitely sent you over the top. And it's like, man, can we just go back to having an engaging conversation and not trying to only talk about ourselves? An interesting topic is the paradox of tolerance. It's an idea from the philosopher Karl Popper, and it basically goes over how it would be good to live in a world of open ideas and expression where we are tolerating other people's belief systems and ways of living to an extent, not to the extent that harmful ideologies, either to themselves or others, is going to be acceptable. You know, we're not just letting people shoot other people because they want to have that idea in their head or something, or like walk around naked around people. So it's not to that extent, but it's to the extent that we should be accepting and understanding of other people in the way that they would like to express themselves, essentially. But the reason why it's a paradox is because if a society is tolerant within limit, its ability to be tolerant will eventually be overthrown by the intolerant. So the specific group of people or person who is going to stand up against ideas that are perfectly normal and fine and say that they hate them and that that person should be eliminated because of the ideas that they have or the ways that they are choosing to exist, that's when it becomes an issue. But the society itself will collapse because we're trying to tolerate everyone's ideas, you know what I mean? So it's a very interesting topic, and I think it relates to this because there's only a certain amount of tolerance that you can have with ignorant people. And when you get to the point where you've tried so many times to go back to certain topics or to explain to somebody that it's not okay what they're doing, and you're getting nowhere, you just simply have to let it go because you understand that there's no winning. And on the flip side, the alternative or the worst thing that could happen is you feel like you're the one who's at fault because something that they're saying or doing is very obviously wrong in the eyes of most, but it's like if they're belittling you or calling you a certain name or slur, like, and it's not okay to you, but you don't know how to talk to them about it because, what are you talking about, dude? Like, why are you so rage baited? It's like, bro, no, that's not how things work. You know what I mean? So you start to just keep your voice quiet and not openly speak to them as much because you feel like it's leading nowhere. But yeah, I just think that it's important to have a firm idea in what you believe and speak up against it. And for those who choose not to understand you or even consider where you're coming from, you should just get them out of your life. And those are just my thoughts, man. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.